What's good, people? Uncle Hotep back at it again. How y'all doing out there? It's episode 56 of Uncle Hotep's podcast. How y'all doing? I'm doing okay. It's 5:30 in the morning. I actually drive into work today. Well, one day I gotta work in the office. So I got up extra early so I can try to get this done. This podcast for the people. Get my thoughts on the sound in the audio waves. Plus, I didn't give you one last week. I actually did an interview. I am gonna. The interview is so long that I decided to. I'm just gonna upload the interview and then release it on my feed. So as an addition to this podcast. So it's I did an interview with a VA whistleblower, and he told me he used to work in the VA, and we were talking about there was a water problem with intake, and how he reported it, and it didn't go anywhere. He ended up getting canned. So I'm gonna let that go. I'm gonna let that ride by itself because it's like an hour and 20 minutes. It's crazy. My man kept talking, but and it was a good interview. And if you listen to it, check it out. I really appreciate it. Get some light on the situations that affects our veterans. You know what I mean? And some of the status of the facilities in across the country in the VA hospitals. It's a sad little thing. You know what I mean? But I'll let y'all listen to that. Anyway, let's get to the podcast. Man, it's been a wild week, especially in the political world. You know, Comey fired. Comey dropping memos talking about Trump. Begged him not to fire Flynn. Comey had it coming. And for the life of me, I don't know why Trump didn't fire him straight from the gate. You know what I mean? That's what I would have done. I would have I want a whole new everything. You know what I mean? A whole new cabinet and a whole new everything. You know what I mean? I went with, if you say Barack Obama was this, that, and the third, I wouldn't have said, let's see if I can work with some of his guys. You know what I'm saying? You have to, if you came out and said you're running against the establishment, you want to drain the swamp, you got to drain the swamp as quickly as possible. You can't just be like, hey, pick and choose. You got to just get everybody. I'd have fired everybody. You know what I'm saying? And now, and it's funny that, the left was saying, oh, they wanted Comey fired because of Hillary Clinton. You know what I mean? Him doing his investigation, his email investigation, and they thinking that cost him the election. Now they're like, hey, it was wrong to fire Comey. And I'm like, and the media is just acting like this was a political firestorm. And I'm sure most Americans, actually I saw a poll that most Americans didn't care about it. There was maybe a third of the people that said Comey was fired wrongly or something like that. The rest of people either didn't care or agreed with it. And it's just sickening. I'm tired of the mainstream media, and I don't even watch it. I'm just sick of seeing the tweets and stuff like that. I don't know how people put up with it. They're trying to instigate an impeachment. You know what I mean? They have people the normies, if you will, thinking they're Trump's about to get impeached, we're going to be saved and stuff like that. I want to tell the normies, man, hey, man, be careful what you ask for. You know what I mean? Be careful what you ask for, because if Trump gets impeached, that means Mr. Pence, shock and all, Pence is going to be your president. And Pence is Pence is like an establishment Republican. He's not, he's not an outsider or anything like that. He's the establishment. And if you had a problem with the Republican Party, then that's manifested incarnate with Mike Pence. I'm not saying Mike Pence is not a nice guy. I think I'll be fine with him, but some of y'all that are worried about a religious I don't want to say nut job, religious. He takes everything seriously. You know what I'm saying? Religious. I don't want to say fanatic, but let's just say there's memes going around with Mike Pence and shock therapy. So you guys can mess with Mike Pence if you want. It don't matter to me. I think I'd rather have see what Trump can do, but you guys, y'all do what y'all gotta do. But Comey, man, he released I'm talking about the memo he released, and now I don't know if he wrote it down. Well, I guess apparently he wrote it down. His conversation with Trump, and Trump saying, "Why don't you take it easy on Flynn?" But I think we're missing the context of the how Trump said it. It's not like did Trump come out and say, "Hey, man, don't investigate. Drop the investigation on Flynn. Just drop it. Just drop it." You know what I mean? And I'll take care of it. You know what I'm saying? Or I'm ordering you to drop it. You know what I'm saying? That's not obstruction of justice, man. People are just so anxious and want to grab on anything to try to get Trump out of there. You know what I mean? They're not even listening to reason. And this is because the media has whipped up this anti-Trump hysteria. You know what I mean? And it's crazy. I'm like, people just, I guess I want to say Americans are not the most intellectual people in the world. God damn it. But my goodness, man, people are just being out of control with this stuff, man. It's not even, it don't make no sense, man, that the people are out here acting like this, man. And, you got Republicans and Democrats coming to the podium and saying, hey, they're disappointed. And you got some Democrats talking about he should be impeached. And this is this. They don't got the votes, first of all. I don't know why would you be waste your time? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's crazy, man. It is absolutely crazy, man. I don't know what to say, man. I don't know if y'all are tired of it. I definitely have Russian fatigue and this media fatigue. You got to understand. Look how they're covering him more closely than they did Obama, and more. How everybody was saying Fox News was against Obama, and they're on him at every turn and racist and everything. The whole media, everyone, even Fox at times is against Trump. Just let that sink in. Just take Fox times every other network, and that's what we have here with Trump. Now isn't that something else? Also, let me get off that. We also had sort of into that. This is the 7 degrees. What's that? What's that game? 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon or something like that. Well, Seth Rich, the same day the Comey memo news dropped, and this is where the media is like in cahoots with each other. You know what I mean? Because the Seth, I don't know if it was the anniversary of his death or not. I think it was, but Seth Rich, the guy, the DC staffer who died in DC. They still haven't found anybody who did the crime. His name got brought up because the WikiLeaks, there was a third-party investigator. And the third-party investigator said there's evidence that Seth Rich was emailing WikiLeaks. Now, this gives credence to the people that were saying that Seth Rich was the leaker. Like, there wasn't a hack, so to speak. There was a leak between Seth Rich and leaked it to WikiLeaks, and that's how all those emails dropped. Like, there was no Russian. People were trying to say Russia gave all that stuff to WikiLeaks, and I don't think so. It was most of the time the stuff is an inside job, especially with hacking and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So people took that and ran with it, and rightfully so, because the conspiracy theory is that the DNC killed Seth Rich. You know what I'm saying? And nobody has found out anything about it. There were people saying that the mayor, not the mayor, the police chief has been told to everybody to stand down on his investigation. Like, there was no body cams of videos released of Seth Rich's body. Like, he was still alive apparently after he got shot. He died in the hospital. Nothing's been found out. And like I said, man, how you white, you live in a posh, upscale neighborhood in DC, walking home and you get killed. White guy in DC get killed and nobody finds out anything. Come on. You know what I mean? This is, no, man. No. They obviously killed him. People have been killed for less, you know what I mean? But leaking documents and stuff like that. They were really trying to get Hillary in the White House, and they failed. And his family is acting even peculiar, which I find it amazing, because they're out here saying they don't want to politicize his death and let the investigation go forward. It's been a year and they haven't found anything. There hasn't even been a murder sketch. You know what I mean? I think there was witnesses around the neighborhood said they saw blacked out cars surround him and shoot him. So you take that for what it's worth. You know what I mean? If I was the parents, I would be like, hey, I wouldn't welcome anything that would help find the killers of my son's death. But they're not saying that. They're just trying to keep it out of political, and nobody's come forward. This is just like the opposite. There's like been no TV interviews or anything like that. They're all in seclusion. You know what I'm saying? Which is the exact opposite. You would think if somebody's son got killed, and you think it might be for nefarious reasons. You know what I'm saying? What do you think that he got killed for? How's the world saying there's something funny with your son's death, and you're just saying, hey, let the police do their job? It's been a year. You know what I'm saying? Like, if they haven't found any leads now, they're never going to find anything. You see what I'm saying? They're not. See, they could put Seth Rich's parents could put political pressure by going out to the news, being on TV. And has anyone seen them? I had to go online and see what they look like. You see what I'm saying? I don't even want to assume anything, but I think they might have been told to keep quiet. You know what I'm saying? That's scary. You know what I mean? If you gotta understand, you gotta learn how. Well, Seth did what he had to do. I don't know if I guess he was a Bernieite, and he was trying to He was a true believer in Bernie, I guess. You know what I mean? He died for what he believed in. I mean, it's obviously, which is kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy. On to the next, Russia, Trump, intelligence. This has also happened this week, last couple days. There's so much stuff been happening. You know what I mean? Like, so the Comey memo came out to push out, I believe, the Seth Rich, because Seth Rich was trending on Twitter. They're trying to bury that investigation. But now, also during this time period, Trump met with Sergei Lavrov, I guess the Russian, I don't know if he's the foreign minister or what. Let me see something. Yeah, he's the Russian foreign minister. Trump met with him the other day, and some intelligence was shared. What intelligence, you ask, Uncle Hotep? Well, I guess remember back when they had those airline scares, and they wanted to ban all electronics coming from certain places like laptops and whatnot. Allegedly, that was a intelligence from a third. Well, I'll get to it, from a third country, and Trump shared that with Sergei Lavrov. But this is stuff that's already happened. So I don't know if all this stuff is past tense. So I don't know why this caused quite a stir, because the media came out and said that Trump was sharing intelligence with our adversary. And like, how are we adversaries with Russia? I thought Russia and the United States were banding together to try to take down ISIS. We're supposed to be working together to take down ISIS. Like, what is with this adversary talk that the media is coming with? Then it also morphed into, it put our third country, or the country, and I'll name it later, the country that gave the intelligence to the United States, it might put their assets in danger. Even though this stuff has already happened, so I don't know how they were in danger. So, immediately hearing that, I was like, man, that was an Israeli asset, and they're trying to cover up. You know what I mean? Because it was crazy. I'm like, the media went crazy with this. I'm like, why is the media going crazy about this asset? You know what I'm saying? Like, why would you be afraid to share intelligence with Russia concerning ISIS, unless you don't want Russia to bomb ISIS? You know what I'm saying? And I knew immediately. I was like, it's either Trump is trying to lay a trap, because, they were all in a room. Lavrov, like Tillerson, McMaster's, Trump, and that's where they talked. So I don't know how a leak came out. Somebody leaked it to the press that's what Trump was saying to Lavrov. So I don't know how somebody in that room, unless the room was bugged. You see what I'm saying? Then, hold on. So I immediately thought that it was either Trump was trying to lay a trap and try to find out who was leaking stuff in his office, or it was the leaker was Israel, and they were putting pressure because they didn't want that asset to be revealed to Russia, because revealing that to Russia would mean maybe Russia would pass on that information to Syria and Iran, and then Syria and Iran would know where some Israeli assets were in the region, especially in Syria, because if you've been following the Syrian war, occasionally Israel bombs some Hezbollah targets in Syria. You know what I'm saying? They violate Syria's airspace. They bomb them and go back home. So they have some they have some assets on the ground. You see what I'm saying? And that's probably why they were upset that Trump shared that with Russia, because that in turn that could give a leg up to Syria, to Iran and Syria, especially concerning Israeli assets on the ground. And so I said that the day of it happened. Now the next day, this story went on for a couple of days. They're still talking about, but the next day it was revealed that Israel was the nation that gave America that intelligence. I'm like, oh, what a surprise! And you got people acting surprised, and I mean, this goes good. There's been stories about Israeli assets being captured with ISIS. This has been happening like a couple years. You know what I mean? Syrian girl just released a tweet saying that such, reposting a story. I think it was in 2015 that an Israeli officer was captured in Iraq with ISIS, embedded in ISIS. So, what's going on here? You know what I mean? I've been saying this for a while. I think they're using ISIS to destabilize Syria. You know what I mean? Because if you look at it, America is talking tough on Iran, and in Iran, Israel are common enemies, are enemies as well, rather. And ISIS was fighting Hezbollah in Syria, so it would stand to reason. Who's helping who? You know what I mean? Like, why wouldn't you? Like, I'm not like passing judgment on this. I mean, through deception thou shalt make war. You know what I mean? There's no rules in war. Now, if you have an objective, you're gonna get it done. Being an impartial observer, what would you do? Would you help out ISIS so they can help destroy your enemies? Or would you destroy ISIS and then try to destroy your enemies? You know what I'm saying? It doesn't make sense to me. You would obviously help out ISIS to destroy your enemy, right? You see what I'm saying? And then there was a Times of Israel article about ISIS attacked IDF positions in the Golan Heights by accident, and they apologized. Yo, that was the funniest thing I ever heard, man. They apologized for attacking. Oh, man. So, it's a messy situation. It's really, really messy. But I don't know what the hubbub was about, because I think, unless that asset's still in play, I guess I assume the asset is still in play. I mean, the asset's still in place, so I guess that's why this whole commotion was brought up about it. But this is getting out of control. Like, I'm about to deplug from mainstream news for a minute. Oh my gosh, man, it's just wild. It really is. I don't know what to say. You know what I mean? They're dying for an impeachment. They're dying for this. They're dying for that. And I don't know what to say. Miss USA, Karen McCullough. She just won the USA. She's Miss from DC. She's actually a chemist or scientist. She's pretty smart. Black woman. Praise you, sister. Congrats, sister. She won, and she gave some controversial answers to some questions. When they run those beauty pageants, they ask these women what they think about certain subjects, and they asked her what she thought about feminism, and they asked her about healthcare, and she for healthcare, she said healthcare is a privilege; it's not a right. And for feminism, she says she's not a feminist because she's not on that hate men kick, and then she's an equalist, and she just says women can do anything they can, and they can be equal of men in the workplace, which is two very rational answers, if I say so myself. I mean, that's what it sounds like to me. It's pretty fair, but, in the black community, you can't. And this is what I don't understand. Because she didn't say anything like anything you can tie racially, not like a racial aspect to a question, right? She said nothing of the sort. But yet, Black America still called her a coon. Because she's not on the victimhood status. I guess being a victim makes you black. Can you imagine people that you have to live in a culture and a community that loves being the victim? Like, they love to be the victim so much, and they're brainwashed to be the victim so much that you can't even answer and say healthcare is a privilege without being called a victim or being called a coon. You can't even say you don't agree with you don't want to be called a feminist without being called a coon. Can you believe this shit? That's unbelievable. It really, really is. It's I wrote an article on my Medium blog. If you guys are listening, please check it out. My Medium page. Hold on, it's Medium Handy Mayhem. But it got a few viewers and a few recommendations. But it's crazy. It really, really is. I don't know what to say. I keep saying I don't know what to say, but I'm making a podcast. That doesn't even sound right. I just want to say I'm saying that because I'm flummoxed. I'm baffled that I have to that some of the stuff I talk about, because I can't even believe the stuff is happening. You know what I mean? Like, it's 2017. Black people should be able to think how they want to think. But that's evidently that's not the case. And it's crazy. Oh man, I'm telling you, it's tired. I'm like, it's early. Oh, dark 30. I started. And when you're in the military, they get you up for reveille. I remember those brainwashing days, and he used to say he got up at dark 30. That's early as hell for the normies. Oh man. Oh, Mouse Jones, man. Listen, this Shine. I think it's at Mouse_Jones. You know what I mean? This guy. There's this Grapevine TV YouTube channel, and their past episode, they did a Hotep episode, and the normie blacks gave Hoteps hell on that show, and somebody had put a clip up of that show and what Mouse was saying, and Mouse was saying Hoteps ain't shit, Hoteps haven't done nothing, and he gave the spiel that black women and black gays are on the front lines fighting for cisgendered men when they get killed. And I don't understand, why they always want to fight for black men when they get killed. No other time, any other time, black men ain't shit unless they're dead. So this Shine, I made a video and told this Shine about himself. You know what I mean? And he didn't take too kindly. And previously, and then no, this is what he said. He said it's still slap a Hotep season. So when I see Handy Mayhem, I'm gonna slap him. I made a YouTube video of this anyway. Check it out on my YouTube channel. So this guy want to slap me because I'm Hotep, and I don't believe what the mainstream narrative they want blacks to believe. This is the dangers, and just like I said with Kara McCullough, if you don't believe in the groupthink, man, you're an enemy of black people by other black people. Can you believe this? Sucker shit, man. And the one thing I wanted to touch on what Mouse said, he was saying that black women and black gays are out in leadership because black men are locked up or have warrants, or or fucked up. That's the problem, Mouse. Get off probation. Stop getting in trouble. Oh shit. Alarm. I don't even know how I got an alarm, man. Shit. Yeah, but you're the problem, Mouse. Stop being a shine. Unbelievable. That you use the excuse that black men we're incapable of staying out of trouble. And that's the reason black women have to lead, because black men are on probation or in trouble or got warrants. Like, this is ridiculous. So anyway, Mouse Jones wants to slap me. So if you find out Uncle Hotep got slapped, that's the reason. Anyway, I'm going to draw this episode to a close. I'm going to take my black ass to work. Thank you for listening. I appreciate it. Check that interview out. I'm going to put that up today as well. Check me out on Twitter, Handy Mayhem, Uncle Hotep. And oh yeah, Uncle Hotep is banned in Sweden. If y'all check it, if y'all haven't checked it out, there's a register or website that shows a list of Twitter users that are banned in Sweden, and I'm banned in Sweden. Can you believe that? Unbelievable. So if anybody's listening to this podcast in Sweden, or close to Sweden, give them a shout out and tell them to unban me, man. I need some Swedish fish. Oh man, that's crazy. Just tell them jokers to unban me from Sweden. I'm literally hurt. I'm emotionally disturbed by that. But anyway, I'm out of here. Like I said, follow me on Twitter, Handy Mayhem, Uncle Hotep. Check my YouTube page out, Uncle Hotep. And that's it. Oh yeah, check that interview out. VA whistleblower. All right, y'all. Peace.